I'm Dr. Ty Melillo. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my journey of how I got here. It all started really when I think back. I was a child running around in my father's chiropractic office, and I always saw him helping people and always treating people in pain. And that came in different forms, but I always was able to notice that Dr. Melillo was somebody that was always trying to help people. He instilled that in me at a young age. But I also had similar things that I would relate to that a lot of children have on the spectrum of autism. I definitely had OCD. I had a lot of frustration, and there's a lot of rage and anxiety and anger that comes with the symptoms of left hemisphere dominancy. And if you ask my father, if you ask any of my parents, they'll tell you I definitely had OCD. I have a lot of young childhood friends that actually were on the spectrum of autism, and that's what I gravitated to. We all were into sci-fi, and we are all into different types of stories and the lore, and got deep into it and shared that. And to this day, it's my best friends are all these sci-fi nerds, and we love talking about certain subjects and get into it. But I really do relate to a lot of the kids that I work with that do the right hemisphere program, and the brilliance behind a lot of these children, a lot of these nonverbal children that are misunderstood. To me, autism is simply true brilliance. It's true sophistication, and unfortunately, that can put a lot of people at risk to lose the sense of their body, to use language and to show their intelligence. However, 100% of the time, autism is intelligence and beautiful brilliance. But if it gets too much, if it becomes too powerful, it turns into anxiety and rage because you just become too overwhelmed with how much knowledge that you've attained and you can't share it. And then next thing you know, it can turn into stims, it can turn into OCD and other types of coping behaviors. And there was a long time I was running away from that type of anxiety. And I learned to eventually accept that and work towards it. And at a young age, I knew that I had to do something. I wouldn't have known what to do if it wasn't for Dr. Melillo. So there was a long time where I felt like he was just giving me extra work, and I was like, this sucks. I was in middle school or so, and I didn't want to do this extra stuff. And then all I ever saw myself doing was this. I can't imagine doing anything else. I love this job. I love the people I meet, the children that I work with. They brought me to tears. We jump up and down in joy. I mean, I learn things every day. And if I could bring the awareness that I've learned from all the children and the families and the patients that I've worked with, I think everybody would really understand that this is such a beautiful mission, and helping people understand each other, it can really heal the world. So that's just part of my story, and it's a beautiful thing. So thanks.